Just a reminder to the audience to stay focused and quiet, and we are about ready to move on to our next debate. Okay? Okay. Our second debate of today is regarding the topic War Brings Progress, with the affirmative from Hayden and the negative from Bibab. Are you all ready to begin? Yes. Okay. All right. You can approach the front. We will begin with the opening statement from the affirmative position. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You may begin.
As a wise man named Plato once said, necessity is the mother of invention. My statement is war brings progress affirmative. Say we define progress as scientific or social change. If all were stopped and all problems of the world were solved, for example, world hunger, climate change, disagreements, etc., there would be no need for change. The human instinct is to make change where change is necessary so that they get what they want. My first main point is that war brings the necessity for innovation. More technology is needed during these times, and more technology is created. How would you feel if you couldn't zip up your jacket in the bitter cold of the winter? Zippers were created during World War I to help fasten things on the uniforms of military officials. After the war and after the zipper found its potential, it was put on basically everything. This was an amazing invention that shapes even our daily lives today. Blood transfusions were also created during World War I after people were successfully able to store blood for long periods of time. More than 245 million people have been saved by blood transfusions since World War I. This number barely compares to the mere 17 million that were killed during the war. Blood transfusions are an important factor in treating cancer and other deadly diseases such as sickle cell disease, liver disease, and kidney disease. My second main point is that if there was never any conflict, many of the luxuries we enjoy today would not exist. I think we can all agree that the basic competition we experience in our daily lives is an example of conflict. The basic competition factor in sports games is a great example of conflict. Fighting in sports games such as hockey and soccer makes the game more interesting. Sometimes we take advantage of this entertainment, but it is very much a luxury that wouldn't exist without conflict. In Animal Farm, Snowball led the animals to victory over the humans. They were notorious for giving them lower rations and harder workloads than they deserved. Snowball gave the animals, even Napoleon, the bright idea to make a windmill in order to make their lives even easier than they were already. This idea would not have been able to be achieved without the rebellion. In light of these examples, it is shown that even though war isn't great for those fighting in it, it brings much-needed progress faster. Military personnel are in great need of good innovation in that they get. If we look at all competition as war, don't we think that war is all around us? Whether competing for a job or competing in a swim meet, competition is very abundant in our daily lives. When competition is raging, innovation is created, and quite a bit of that innovation wouldn't be created without competition. War most always brings on new ways for doing things, striking new possibilities for our daily lives. Thank you. I now stand ready for cross-examination.
Are you ready for cross-examination?
Yes, I am. Okay. Do you agree that war either kills or harms the victims of war, either mentally or physically?
Yes.
Do you also agree that, in general, that a human life is the most important thing ever?
Yes.
Okay. Now, take the instance of the conquering of the Aztecs and the Incas. Okay? Centuries of their progress were destroyed by the Spanish. Their gold was melted for money, their native crops were replaced with cash crops, and they were enslaved. How did the Aztecs or the Incas gain anything from this conflict?
They did not gain anything, but the Spanish gained land and gained more power by just gaining the stuff that was there in Mexico and Peru, so that we could have some of the things that we have today.
However, do you not agree that the Spanish also lost several of their men from smallpox and war?
They did lose several of their men, but they also gained quite a bit of population because people came over to Mexico and Peru, and they reproduced and gained much more population.
Also, one more thing, that the Spanish introduced the deadly disease of smallpox to the Americas, which was previously never there in the Western Hemisphere. So How is this a good thing?
Well, the Incas and the Aztecs, it doesn't really affect them because most of them already died. So it's not really that big of a factor if you're looking at it from the side of the Spanish.
But those who didn't die were enslaved and took part in the Atlantic slave trade. So, moving on. War can also attack or degrade someone's race, religion, or beliefs. Do you believe this?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I believe that terrorism is a type of war because it attacks the previously mentioned three things: race, religion, and beliefs. Do you agree that terrorism instills fear in people?
It does, and that is its main goal, so the terrorists gain progress in their goal achieving.
However, the terrorists might be achieving progress, but the majority of the world is not achieving progress through fear.
Alright, we will now hear our opening statement from the negative position. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, ma'am.
You may begin.
War does not bring progress. War hurts people's livelihoods, takes away lives, and their mental state. It makes all of us as human beings go back on the progress we've made. War could be a full-scale battle with death and destruction everywhere, or a simple disagreement between people or groups. War, in whatever form it takes, changes people's lives for the worse. War causes loss of life and resources. One of the examples of severe loss, with no progress gained, occurred during the Battle of Gallipoli during World War I. During the Battle of Gallipoli, the Allies wasted their time, effort, and troops trying to capture the Dardanelles Straits during World War I. They could not execute their plan, and both the Ottomans and the Allies lost 111,000 troops and a huge amount of resources and weapons. The worst part was, nothing was gained out of this campaign. Another example of loss happened when the Spanish conquered the